Hey, what's up, everyone? This is Ben Five with you again. This this is a follow up to like my musical biography video, which not a lot of people watch, and I think it's because it was such a long video. I mean, it's 22 fucking minutes, and that's the longest video I've ever made. Especially since I found out I don't have a time limit anymore, and it was suggested by Gothatfunk, and I said I was gonna make another video as kind of like the part two of that, talking about the the bands I've been into throughout my life. But I did actually film that. But as I was doing it, it felt sloppy, and then when I went back and rewatched it, it seemed like it had no kind of flow to it. Because I kept on remembering shit. And I even tried to like write some shit down to try to give me like an outline of what to talk about, but it wasn't working out. So instead of like just skipping it, I decided I'm going to do basically, because I mean I've talked about the different kinds of music I'm into in different videos. You can look at the bands I like on my channel. I have those all listed, but I thought I would just instead do a video, basically a video response to Got That Funk on his video Unicorns, Rainbows, Fun, and Shiz. And this was a response to Scousecaspaxs. And these were just different songs that you like or you hate. And he added a few of his own categories, and I actually added one last one, and I'll get into that. But anyhow, I don't want this video to be longer than it has to be. Because, like I said, after that 22-minute video, yeah, kind of, I knew not a lot of people could watch it because it was a long video. But anyhow, the first category is a happy song that makes you happy whenever you listen to it. And that, for me, is Friday, I'm in Love by The Cure. It seems like no matter what, if I'm in a fairly good mood, or even if I'm in a bad mood, I can listen to that song and I don't know. I mean, I like mostly sad Cure. Like, I think Disintegration's probably their best album. I know some people are going to disagree. Like, my cousin thinks that Blood Flowers is their best. Some people think Pornography, or any number of albums. But Friday I'm in Love is, like, one of the few, like, happy songs they do that I can actually listen to. Because I mostly like depressing music that's, like, more brooding. I don't know why that is, but that's the kind of music I've been drawn to. And Friday I'm in Love, I just think the music is fucking incredible. The way Robert Smith sings it sounds great, and I love the song. I mean, that's one of my favorite songs of all time. Next category, song that takes you away. To me, at first, the band I was thinking of, as soon as I saw that category, it was Pink Floyd. Now, to me, the one song that like just takes me away, I think Dark Side of the Moon takes you away more than any other album. Now, The Wall is definitely my favorite Pink Floyd album. But that's an album you really have to, like, I don't know, it's almost like a story that, you were, like, intentionally paying attention. But Dark Side is just one of those albums you could just throw on the headphones, close your eyes, and you're just, like, whisked off to a different, I don't know, like, a different kind of fucking realm of reality. And even my wife, she was flying to Italy, and since it was an international flight, they had, like, preset albums, like, in the little, basically in the seat. And she likes the song Money, and that's really, like, at this time at least, she knew almost nothing about Pink Floyd. And then she said she listened to Dark Side of the Moon, and she said she had to listen to it, like, twice in a row because it was that fucking incredible. Even though I've been telling her that for years, she finally did. But the song that just takes me away off that album is Brain Damage. It's got such a creepy, weird feel to it, and the music is just so different than most shit you're gonna hear. Like the drumming is barely there throughout the verses. It's just like, like a hi-hat chick. And it's like, wow. And like, I don't know, they really, to me, they were like one of the best experimental bands on the planet. But yeah, Brain Damage by Pink Floyd, fucking incredible song. But the thing that sucks about that song is every time I hear that on the radio, I have to hear it clips, which most of the time they play it. But then again, every time I hear those songs, I just want to hear the rest of the fucking album. But anyhow, I'll move on. My favorite love song. This one was kind of hard for me because I'm not really big on a lot of like love songs. Like I said about The Cure, it's like I like their sad shit more than their happy shit. But then I got to thinking, because when I first met my wife, I would make her mixtapes. And I worked at Toys R Us, and they had like a soundtrack playing, and like they played like a lot of 50s and 60s love songs, and that made me think of her because that she loves 50s and 60s music, especially like that, popsicles and icicles, and wonder what she's doing tonight, and hooked on a feeling, things like. Well, actually, I think that's 70s, but anyhow, she likes these songs, and but the one song by one of my favorite bands of all time is "Forever" by Kiss. One little note about that is Paul Stanley actually wrote that with Michael Bolton, but I think the song is fucking great. Now, the video's sad because Eric Carr, the drummer, he was actually, basically, he had terminal cancer, and he really didn't do a whole lot with Kiss, and they had basically replaced him, but he just wanted to play that video, even though he wasn't, in the best of health. But that's sad, but I still think the song is fucking great. It's just one of the songs I can listen to over and over again. Next category, classic song. To me, it wasn't as hard as the love song, but I mean, there's so many classic songs out there that I fucking love. But I have to say, I think the best masterpiece of metal, and I don't think anyone's going to top this song, is Diary of a Madman by Ozzy Osbourne. I love that song. That is one of my favorite songs ever. It's probably in my top 5 favorite songs. I think that song, like my dad, before I'd heard it, he was like, the song's creepy, man, you have to listen to it. And then my brother heard it, he was like, this isn't creepy. He's like, yes it is, listen to the lyrics. And the lyrics are fucking creepy, but then again, the music is too. And I've been trying to learn how to play that on classical guitar for quite some time, but it's very difficult, because Randy Rhoads was actually learning how to play classical guitar, and he was already a talented guitarist as it was, but I love that fucking song so much. I mean, of the classic songs that I'm into, that's probably my all-time favorite. Song you couldn't live without. Now this one's a little weird. And the reason it's weird is because of this. It's my favorite song of all time, but I don't just like one version. I like many different versions of this song, and that's Down in the Park. It was originally done by Gary Numan. Now, at one time I was trying to get together like a whole big compilation tape of every version of that song. Marilyn Manson did a fucking awesome version of that song. Gary Numan redid the song. I have a few of his live versions. I have a few other cover versions. I mean, I don't have every version. Foo Fighters did a version of that song too. But I don't think I could live without that song. I mean, that's one of my favorite songs of all time. I love that song. It's just fucking incredible. Now, song you wish you could live without. First off, I'm going to say this. I do not own a single rap CD. I don't like rap. There are a few rap songs that I can respect. Some that I can, get into. Like, okay, this is cool song. Like, the Beastie Boys aren't too bad. That song, Get Back by Ludacris, I think the song's funny as it is. I know it's not meant to be funny, but I think it's actually not that bad of a song. And then I always think of Tom Cruise and Tropic Thunder when I think of that song. So that makes me laugh. But the song that the first time I heard it, I fucking hated it. Every other fucking time, because it was like the number one song for like fucking 20 years, is Yeah by Usher. God, I fucking hate that goddamn fucking song. I fucking hate that goddamn song. It's stupid. No one knows the lyrics. They just like that, ooh, 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 yeah. God, I fucking hate that song. I wish I could fucking kill Usher just for releasing that fucking song. I fucking hate it. I'll tell you what I really think. Anyhow, these next few are the optional categories that Gothatfunk added. And I think they're cool. I mean, that's why I went ahead and added them. My favorite song to sing along with, Hallowed Be Thy Name by Iron Maiden. Now, I think if I took better care of my voice, I actually could sing a little bit like Bruce Dickinson. I'm not going to sing it around everyone else, but like when I'm in the car, I'll turn that fucking track on, I'll blast the fucking volume, and sing along with it. And I think if I just work my voice out, I could hit those high notes. But God, I love that song. I mean, it's so fucking awesome. It's just like, as soon as I hear it start, like, oh yeah, I'm gonna get fucking rocked, motherfucker. God, I love Iron Maiden. Have I said that before? I don't know. I fucking love them. Probably, you can probably tell from the Iron Maiden banner. But anyhow, I love that song. That's one of my favorite Iron Maiden songs ever. Probably from my favorite Iron Maiden album ever. But anyhow, favorite song for a road trip. Now, this one, as cliched as it sounds, I love this song. In fact, I love the artist. On the Road Again by Willie Nelson. And my wife, after like we started like driving, both of us started driving, and like we had some money. We met in high school. She always wanted to take road trips, and I always did too. Because as a kid, I really didn't get to travel much. If you're from Ohio, anywhere in Ohio, pretty much, Hocking Hills is like a pretty big tourist destination because there's like a lot of hills, a lot of caves and shit. Like Old Man's Cave is a big one. I'd never been there until I met my wife, and she was like, "Oh yeah, we went there all the time as a kid. Did you ever go?" And I said no, and she was like shocked because she thought everyone in Ohio had fucking been to Old Man's Cave and Hocking Hills. But we were taking a road trip, and we stopped at a rest stop. Use the bathroom, get a drink, and all that. And I started like when she was like, "Okay, let's go ahead and get going," and I just started singing, "On the road again. I just can't wait to get on the road again." And she was like, "What's that?" I'm like, "Oh, it's a Willie Nelson song." Well, I found this CD, like a compilation of like Willie Nelson's greatest hits, and that was on there. And I threw it in there. She didn't like it. She doesn't like country. I can appreciate old country. I don't like the new shit, like Rascal Flatts, Taylor Swift. No, that's poppy bullshit. The old stuff I can actually listen to and like, that's actually a good song. But yeah, that song is cool. And then also, just about any Jimi Hendrix, like, greatest hits song. And that actually comes from my wife. She's like, I really like Jimi Hendrix. Can you find me a good Jimi Hendrix CD? Well, we were in Pittsburgh, and we went to like one like these record stores that was like rare, vintage shit. And I found a Jimi Hendrix CD because she didn't even ask for it. I was just looking. I'm like, oh yeah, she wanted Jimi Hendrix, and I found a CD that had like 20-some tracks on it of pretty much every Jimi Hendrix song that you would know of. If you're just kind of like more of a pedestrian kind of fan of Jimi Hendrix, you didn't go really deep into his catalog. But we started listening to it, and now every time we hear Jimi Hendrix, we want to take a fucking road trip. So those are good songs for a road trip. But anyhow, next category, favorite song to dance to. Now, unlike Gothatfunk, I'm not a big fan of fucking dancing. Now, probably the closest I've ever come to dancing was when I was into the punk thing. Like, we would just kind of throw our fucking bodies around, pogo, and like, just basically try to hurt each other. And, a lot of people were wearing spikes and shit, which I still have some scars from that. And then also, like, I would just, like, since I do have, long hair, if I wear it down, it fucking flares out. Like, I don't have to really, like, tease it to get big 80s hair. I just have it. And I'll just fucking sit there and bang my head. But the song that I have to fucking just get violent with, not towards other people, but just like throwing my body around, is Sonne by Rammstein. And just like that main guitar riff is just fucking incredible. And Rammstein's one of my favorite bands, but that's not my favorite Rammstein song, but it's one of those songs where I'm just like, yes, motherfucker. Now the last category, I actually added this one because I kind of hinted at it, was my favorite depressing song. And one of my favorite bands is a band that actually does a lot of depressing shit. Sorry. Is Typo Negative. And now they do have like their more tongue-in-cheek shit. Like their first few albums were more tongue-in-cheek. And some of them were like funny tracks, but to me, like their more depressing shit, the shit that like they actually, like Peter Steele, the singer slash bass player slash songwriter who actually died recently, was the shit like when he was really going through a hard time in his life, because I can almost feel what he's feeling, even though I haven't been through like those situations. It's just like, wow, he just really pulled it all out and just said, look, this is how I feel. And that song, my favorite depressing song by them, probably the most depressing song I think they have, is Haunted, from their album October Rust. Now, one part in particular that just hits me is this part, like the music just kind of dies off, and then it comes back, and Peter Steele is singing "I Hate the Morning," but he's hitting this low E note, and that's the lowest I've ever heard him sing. He can already sing pretty low, but it just like hits me like a fucking ton of bricks. Like, wow, especially the outro, just like the way he's singing, it just sounds so fucking incredible. And I love Typo Negative, and a lot of people don't like them, and I don't get it. I really don't get why so many more people don't like them. I love that fucking band. I love them. It just sucks that they're not going to be making... Well, hopefully they won't be making any more albums. Peter Steele was that band, pretty much. I mean, he wrote, like, almost all the songs. And he was just such... he's one of my favorite singers of all time. Maybe I'll go into some of my favorite singers of all time later, but not in this video, because I don't want it to get longer than it has to be. So anyhow, so again, Gothatfunk, he gets the shout out this time, because this is kind of a continuation of my last video. And I just thought this would be fun, because I liked his video a lot. And I like the other videos, like the ones that were also responses to Scousecaspaxs. So, yeah, hopefully this one was a little bit better than the last one I recorded. So, anyhow, this is a bad 5, and I'll see you guys next video.